it's a Dan fan! Oh, Dan fan, you're too late to review this episode! Jojo episode 4 of the Golden Wind, or whatever the heck the original translation of that is supposed to be. I'm working off of Crunchyroll subs, you gotta work with me, guys. So in this episode, we have Jono Giovanna fighting against this stand that was set to go off based on whoever lit the lighter, and whoever saw the lighter being lit, it would just automatically attack. So as soon as Giorno takes a step back and his foot touches the shadow and you see kind of a puddle effect in the shadow, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, it's a shadow base. It's a shadow base stand. And yes, the stand has to be in the shadows. It cannot survive in sunlight, and it can move through the shadows at quite incredible speeds. It can also like go into the shadows and just stay in the shadows. It doesn't have to come out actually. And Giorno figures this out relatively quickly as soon as he's like playing with the shadows. He like touches the shadow and then stays back, and you see like the stand just can't go over there, and then it stops and it patiently waits. It waits for him to touch the shadow again to get that option to actually grab him and pierce him with the arrow. And he comes very, very close to actually piercing Giorno. Well, he does technically cut Giorno with the arrow, but he doesn't actually pierce him so that the arrow will take its full effect. But he does cut him with the arrow quite a couple times. And I was actually pretty curious to see what would happen if he got hit with the arrow. Would he actually live through it and get a new ability, like how we saw with Kira? Kira stabbed himself with the arrow a couple of times, or well, the arrow was like magnetized to him and he gained a new ability from it. So I was kind of wondering, oh, would we get something like that with Giorno? But of course, not willing to take that risk, even if that would happen, Giorno just decided, no. Let's just beat up the stand and be done with it. And then Koichi comes from he comes from somewhere. He said he was watching from the window above. He comes down, he's like, did you kill that old man? And then that's when, of course, the stand comes from the shadows and tries to attack Koichi, because he admitted that he saw everything. He saw the lighter being lit, so naturally the stand has to attack him as well. And Giorno very actively saves him. He grabs the arrow, pierces his hand again, of course, and he changes the rail into vines so that it doesn't have cast that shadow anymore. But before the stand can actually like be burned by the sunlight, it quickly touches the shadow and transfers again. So we finally have Koichi like explaining what the arrow does, and he's also asking questions like, who's that stand from? You know, do you know this guy? What's its motive? Why is it randomly attacking me? And he, explains what was going on. Sort of explains what was going on. I'm guessing Giorno explained off screen to Koichi what he was trying to do with infiltrating this organization. I'm guessing that he did that after he stopped Koichi from making the phone call to Jotaro. So after Koichi explains that this is a long distance stand, it's remotely controlled, the guy who's controlling it probably doesn't even know what's going on here. So that's all good news for Giorno, because he's all like, does this mean I failed my test? Can I still pass it off? Like, yeah, this lighter was lit the whole time. Koichi wanted to go right after the stand user. He's like, this stand is just gonna keep on attacking us, and it can move super fast through shadows. So our best bet is to go after stand user, and Giorno's like, no, I got a test to pass. And of course he does end up defeating the stand. He does so by, stand catches him by transferring the shadows of birds, which was really smart actually, into the shadow of a tree, and he grabs him from the tree's shadow. But then Giorno, he's also smart. Koichi, quick thinking, decided to pause on his hands, but it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite loosen up the grip, so Koichi's like, maybe I should just reverse it. It's gonna break his legs. But Giorno's like, I got this. And it turns out he was digging a hole into the street, I guess. He's a strong dude. I think we've already established that. He digs a hole right into the gravel and gets the root of the tree that is casting the shadow, and he causes the tree's life to expand to its fullest, to the point where it starts breaking apart, and then of course the shadow is gone. And before before that stand can move on to the next shadow. He goes for the shadow inside the hole, and Giorno's like, covers up the hole and beats the living crap out of the stand. So that's all said and done, and Koichi's like, oh man, I gotta tell Jotaro right away that they had a stand with the arrow, and I gotta make sure that he knows all this stuff, and Giorno stops him. He's like, no, it's too risky. It's not just one person. It's a whole organization. You gotta be extra careful, otherwise they're gonna come after you. The fact that this organization has a whole stand user army we got going on here, that's even more reason to be extra careful. So this is the point where I think maybe Giorno might have told him his scheme offhand, and then later on we do see Koichi calling Jotaro again, and he says, yeah, he's not as bad as a guy as you think he is. Giorno's not that bad of a guy. And Jotaro's like, well, what are you talking about? And he just kind of says, I'll explain to you in person. So that leads me to believe that he knows. Make sure that you're in a safe spot before you explain his infiltration process that he's going through here. And Koichi kind of goes through this whole speech about how he exudes this righteousness, this compassion, just like how the other Jojo family members do. And granted, he is technically a part of the Jojo family. Granted, his father was Dio, but Dio was using Jonathan's body to mate. So it's this weird mixture that I don't even quite understand. Half Dio, half Jonathan's son, possibly half vampire, but he's a stand user either way. So Giorno does return the lighter successfully. And this was kind of a dark and cold twist, but I kind of liked it. So while he's there, he gets the badge that proves that he passed, right? So he's in. He's got this. But right before he leaves, he slides in a gun that he turned into a banana into this dude's fridge. So as soon as he's unpeeling the banana, puts it in his mouth, and that it immediately changes back into a gun, and the hammer just clicks and Giorno don't fuck around. And after that scene, we see that Bruno is taking Giorno to meet the other little gang members that they got situated at this table, all of which stand users, from what I understand at least. So, that's gonna be exciting. Even more exciting, which one of these people are gonna be on our side? Because I know that Giorno and Bruno probably is friends with some of these guys, so he's gonna wanna, like, transfer him. He's gonna be like, hey, why don't we follow Giorno from now on, hey? I know, the reviews are so late, but everything uploads on Fridays. I have kind of moved some things over. I'm moving things around, see if I can get it situated. Instead of doing Titans episode by episode reviews, I've decided to just do the whole season review. It's probably better because the episodes are super all over the place. So as usual, thank you guys for watching. Hey, look at us, all talking about Jojo having fun and shit. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I make pretty good videos. Comment down below what you thought, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Program restart. Shutting down all systems.